thanks for coming back for another segment of Michigan Conservative Roundtable. I have Kim to my right, Mac to my left. My name is TJ. And in this segment, I'm kind of thinking of it as game on. And what I mean by that is I see how some of the rural areas are reacting to the out-of-control Antifa activity. And I've long made the argument that if there's a lack of justice, or when there's a lack of justice, it leads to vigilantism. And my concern is now becoming, when you look at the cities, how it is completely devoid of law and order, okay? Are we going to start seeing acts of vigilantism? And I just wanted to I looked up the word vigilante, broadly defined, self-appointed doer of justice, which could include that individual issuing out punishment of whatever they deem as applicable.
Right.
And like I said, in so many Democrat-controlled cities, the law and order is completely broke down, and it's to the point now where people are having to for their own survival. They now they're stuck with defending their lives, and here at the Michigan Conservative Roundtable, we believe in the rule of law, the right of self-defense, and even as long as certain criteria is met, citizen's arrest. And here in Michigan, a citizen can make an arrest provided that it meets criteria involving that of a felonious assault of some sort. Okay, my suggestion is you need to personally witness it. Okay, if you haven't personally witnessed the felonious act, then you may want to kind of observe a wait and see until police maybe do arrive. The reason why I say that is because if you're wrong, if you make a citizen's arrest, you're going to be subject to the same scrutiny, especially if you use any kind of deadly force. We'll say you're going to be subject to the same scrutiny as a police officer. Lord God Almighty, don't be wrong. Now you'll be charged with a felony, and most likely you'll be sued at some point. So, and there's a fine line between vigilantism and self-defense and citizen's arrest.
We're seeing that. The incident in Lake Orion, where the couple felt threatened, and who was arrested? Not the woman threatening them, standing behind the vehicle.
Detaining them against their will.
Right.
Well, what I wanted to do was I wanted to briefly mention a couple scenarios and incidents that kind of made the headlines. Early June, and it was either the last day or so of May or the first day or so of June. You had that town in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. The residents there had knowledge of BLM coming to their city to basically do their protest thing. And the next thing you know, what do you got? You got residents of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, on the sidewalks with weapons, visible, drawn, standing in front of establishments. You had guys in their pickup trucks driving up and down the road with guys hanging out in the back with their guns. And when you look at the video, it almost looked like BLM wasn't exactly prepared for that reception,
Well, in truth, they're not doing the things you mentioned because of protest, because everyone has the right to protest. But they're not protests. They're riots. They're looting.
Burning
they're
buildings.
mayhem, destruction. So that's why they're out there with their weapons.
Yeah. Actually, that happened in Weatherford, Texas, a weekend or two ago. BLM, they started bringing their bus loads into town, and the citizens of Weatherford, Texas, and all around came, and they ended up not even getting out of their buses. But is that what we need to do to prevent
Well,
them
it's
from
worked in
rioting?
Gettysburg
You know
so
what?
far.
That's why I say game on. That's why I said game on. Here it is, game on.
Well, I watched a few of these videos recently in preparation for this, and I see a common theme. We're in charge now. we're going to say what you can say. If you say all lives matter, we're going to say you can't say that. If you say blue lives matter, no, you can't say that. You can only say black lives matter. You're going to stand here. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. You're going to do what we tell you is the common theme. And some people just aren't going to be told where to stand, what to say, and what to think.
It was interesting. Supposedly at Sturgis yesterday, there was a video out where Antifa came into town.
Yeah.
The police department actually protected Antifa and marched them out of town.
Yeah, because well, there was
That was not the right place to do that.
hundreds of
Antifa.
bikers. I understand were there. Something happened last week at a town called Fort Collins in Colorado. Again, you had Antifa come to Fort Collins, and somehow they ended up in a particular neighborhood. Okay, I believe the group was Back the Blue group.
Yeah.
Okay, and they kind of came like this, and then something happened. Somehow, and the video isn't clear, but somehow an elderly man in a wheelchair was knocked out of his wheelchair. Well, once the elderly man was knocked out of the wheelchair, it's game on. And to put it mildly,
As it should be.
You know what?
Game
To
on.
put it mildly, Antifa got the snot pounded out of them. If you've seen the video, I mean, they had these guys on the ground, and they were. And when I say these guys, the Back the Blue group, they had these Antifa guys on the ground, pounding the snot out of them. The police did respond. Leading up to when the police actually responded, you could hear someone, don't know who, but someone in the video yelled out, "Do not pull your firearms." So obviously some in the group did have firearms on them, and someone yells out, "Do not pull your firearm." When the police got there, by this time Antifa knows they're getting the short end of the stick. They were already beginning to retreat, and 3 arrests were made, and I think all 3 came from the Antifa group.
Yeah.
But the thing is as this country and some of these democratic cities defund the police departments, I'm afraid we're going to have to stand up for ourselves because the Austin Police Department I know is defunded, and they say that they don't have enough money to do anything practically. And they said, if your house is broken into, don't call us. We can't help you.
What city is it that they said? Oh, Minneapolis. Just give in to them. You
Yeah.
know what? If they want to rape you, just lay down and take it.
Like
a woman.
In a previous video, I mentioned how they made an official pronouncement saying, if a guy robs you, be prepared to give them your cell phone and wallet or purse.
I saw that.
And that was an official statement made from city officials. Which got me going on that particular segment. What I see here is, and we're without really pointing to any one group in particular. You have, whether they be known as Antifa, whether or not they're BLM affiliated, you also have this other group, and this should be of concern, NFAC. And to be proper, we'll call it the No Fooling Around Coalition, okay? But the F stands for another word by their own decree, okay? But to keep this PG, we'll call it No Fooling Around. And this group, they've become so accustomed to getting their way in these cities. To if they want to burn something down, they burn it down with no fear of justice or being arrested or anything. Then they think when they go to a place like whether it be Coeur d'Alene or Fort Collins or wherever that aren't in these cities, all of a sudden they realize they've bitten off more than they can chew.
Yeah.
And it's game on.
And they start shooting each other by accident.
And that's why I have the concern of when these situations do present itself, it's very important. Do not fall into the that of being like a vigilante and and well, now they're going to get their due. You know what?
Well, in reading your description or your definition of, not your definition, but the definition of vigilantism, what is no justice, no peace but vigilantism?
Yeah, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is.
Sure enough is. And one of the reasons why, for me, this is so important is, I know Mac and I have a CPL. I don't know if you do.
Not in this state.
Not yet. But as a CPL holder, concealed pistol license, you really, really, really got to go the extra mile to stay within the parameters of the law.
You're held to a higher standard, as you
you're-
should be, because you have a great responsibility when you carry a firearm.
And, you know what? And going to the fact that in the Fort Collins video, the guy's yelling out, "Don't pull your guns." Yes, just self-restraint, and just a state of mind in which you're able to properly assess the threat and the situation. And whatever you do, do not take the law into your own hands.
As these bigger cities are defunded, though, the police departments are defunded, we're going to see more because people are going to have to protect themselves from these groups. Antifa, like I said, that's a violent group. It should be labeled, in my mind, as a terrorist group. Mm-hmm. What this country is not, why it's not doing that, BLM to me is a terrorist group. And,
Yeah.
And I don't know this other group. So, the thing is...
NFAC?
Yeah.
Oh, these people are scary. And here's the thing. They're not even properly trained with their weapons handling.
Wow.
They've made... Their one leader made a video about the AR that's got all the gun guys who are trained laughing and mocking this leader of theirs because they had at one of their events they had an accidental discharge, and of course he made a YouTube video in an effort to try and explain how that happened. Now he's being laughed at and mocked for his idiocy. Yeah.
Right.
But
see, I don't feel sorry for Antifa and BLM and all those when they come up with people that are saying, "Hey, you're not going to tear our town down."
When these people get hurt, the blood's going to be on the hands of Democrats because they're the ones that gave them the idea that they could just roll on from victory to victory to victory unscathed until they take it to a place where that isn't going to happen.
yeah, and that's where my concerns come.
I think they're running into it more and more. People are starting to say, we ain't doing this.
Right.
And just be advised, everyone by now has heard of the St. Louis couple, so I guess just prepare yourself. Just be prepared for a worst case scenario is really my final thought on that.
I think it's ridiculous that people, for defending their property, are being arrested.
Yeah.
And for defending themselves against violence are being arrested.
Well, that's why people are moving out of the cities because
In droves.
who needs that?
Right.
So that's all I got. Any final thoughts here, people?
I'm good.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot. We'll catch you next time. And remember, be safe, watch your six, and don't tread on me.